we recognize the serpent as a universal symbol for evil. When Satan first introduced himself in the garden, he took upon the form of a serpent. Therefore, from Genesis to Revelation, whenever we see the word serpent, we think of wickedness, corruption, deceit, maliciousness, and all types of ungodly behavior. On the other hand, when we think of the Son, we think of purity, virtue, honor, perfection, and the incarnation of God in human form. These images are dramatically different, yet we're enticed to focus on their similarities rather than on their distinctions. As Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Even so, in like manner, in a similar way, the author challenges us to find a strand of commonality between the serpent and the Son. As Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. To comprehend this verse, we have to reflect upon the former to better understand the latter. Numbers chapter 21 tells us about the children of Israel. At this point, the children of Israel have grown tired. They're completely and totally exhausted. They're weary from their journey. They're wore out, wore down, and on the verge of collapsing. They're physically and mentally drained. When I say they're tired, I mean they're tired. Tired of struggling, tired of just getting by, tired of fighting for their lives, tired of traveling, tired of moving from place to place, not having a permanent residence, not having a place to call home. They're tired of living in tents. Tired of not knowing where their next meal will come from. They're tired of pursuing the promise. Tired of believing. Tired of being optimistic. Tired of pretending to be happy. Tired of faking a smile. They're tired in every sense of the word. Some of you understand how I feel, but for those of you who don't, let me explain something to you. This isn't sleepy, tired. It's different from just needing to go to bed. This is waking up tired, brushing your teeth tired, combing your hair tired, going to work tired, eating lunch tired, clocking out tired, driving home tired, playing with your kids tired, interacting with your spouse tired. This is living your life tired. It's produced from a place of discontentment. It's produced from a place of unfulfilled ambition. It's not a natural exhaustion. It's a spirit of heaviness that is not appeased by any amount of rest. This is being so exhausted from your journey that you don't know how much further you'll be able to go. The major issue with you being this tired is you become vulnerable to the enemy. You're much more likely to give in, to compromise, to yield, and to submit when you're tired. You say and do things that you wouldn't normally say or do when you get tired. You gave Silly Sally a piece of your mind when you were tired. You flipped out on your wife and yelled at your kids when you were tired. Normally you're the embodiment of composure. You're cool, calm, and collected, but your boss yelled at you that day. You got caught speeding on the way home. Your wife was on you about cutting the grass, so when Dan called with all his problems and all his issues, you let all the tension of the day spew out on him. Any other day you could have handled the situation appropriately, but that day you were physically and mentally drained. It doesn't excuse your actions. It doesn't get you off the hook, but there is a correlation between you giving into the flesh and you being tired. The story of Samson testifies to this principle, because when we read the story of Samson, we come to acknowledge that he didn't just give in to Delilah because he was lustful. The Bible tells us he was looking for somewhere to lay his head. He was looking for an external pleasure to change his internal condition. But what he found out is nothing external can change anything internal. And if you pursue external things, you only end up empty and vacant. Many times when you get tired, you reach for pleasure. You reach for worldly things to give you internal peace and internal joy. The children of Israel were tired, and their weariness contributed to them submitting to the flesh. See, they gave in. They stopped being led by the Spirit and they started being led by the flesh. As they began to cater to the flesh, their problems were magnified. The severity of their problems didn't change, but how they perceived their problems changed. See, when you're being led by the Spirit, you see your problems through the ability of the Most High God, the mountain mover and the sea splitter. Your perception is dictated by the Word, which says all things are possible to them that believe. On the other hand, when you're being led by the flesh, you see your problems through your own abilities, what you can and cannot achieve, what you can and cannot accomplish. Therefore, your problems tend to be magnified. You can always tell when somebody's being led by the flesh, because when their flesh can't find a legitimate problem to magnify, it will manipulate them into creating one.